Greetings, greetings, greetings. This is for you, dear Libra. This is from Lumination. This is your mini generic love and relationship report for September 2018. You know the drill. Watch for your sun, moon, and rising, especially if they're all different. And you can even cross-watch for your significant others. Cards are already well shuffled in advance, but we go to the very last second so that you're a witness. There's no jumpers, no flyers, no oracles, no reversals. We're keeping it very, very simple. And I just hope to get as much clarity out there for you as possible. We're going to use the Tarot Illumination Crucible spread. It's on the understanding that there's you, Libra, a significant other, and then there's a third entity, the relationship itself, okay? Which has its own like energy and feeling, like a totally separate thing. And in a loving relationship, both parties are aware of this, and they invest in the relationship. They nurture each other through the relationship. They take care of the relationship like they would maintain a car or maintain a house or maintain an investment program so that it grows and becomes strong and stays strong. They're always doing the repairs and maintenance. We're going to go back to the cards in just a second. I want to give you a bit of a heads up, Libra. You know, the sun is going through Virgo season, which is kind of like your 12th house, which is the house of self-undoing and resting and things coming to an end. So if you feel like this big slump of energy, that would be normal. But towards the end of the month, like the 23rd or something, the sun is going to move into Libra. So your energy will start to pick up again from there. Very basic, you know. We're just trying to keep the essentials here. And like the other reports, I'm giving a very broad spectrum, single page astrodoodle for everybody because the energy has changed quite a lot this month. And, you know, with July and August, it was very turbulent with the eclipses, but things are settling down with the September season. The eclipses are over. We're still probably dealing with a serious aftershocks, you know. There was the Leo Aquarius axis, and then we also had the Cancer new moon eclipse a while back. So we're just coming out of this stuff now. Also, during August, we had 6 planets retrograde right in the middle. That's an awful lot of retrograde. So you might have felt like a lot of pressure, like being hogtied, like being strapped in, very frustrated, trying to grow and evolve and everything. But that's all loosening up here in September. Now, the thing is, that can provide a sense of relief. There are some very harmonious, lovely things going on through September. That's great for everybody. But I want the point of this little doodle is to remind you that there's a lot of like deep undercurrents that are still extremely stressful. And that's what I want to focus on here so that you don't get caught out. Okay? Like you can look at the ocean and think, oh, I need to go jump in. Oh, that's so cool. And then a rip current takes you out and you're totally messed up. Okay, so please understand that the Aquarius Leo axis is still under stress. Mars is still going to go through Aquarius for the whole month, coming out of retrograde, I believe. Also, the Taurus Scorpio axis is still very stressed. I want to give you a couple of dates. Hold on, give me a second. I forgot to put that here. I had it earlier. Libra for you. Please watch out around September the 11th and the 12th. Why? Not that huge a deal, but the moon will be going through Libra. And in my experience here, when the moon passes through your sign like that, it can trigger all like the shadow energy, like the intuitive gut things, especially related to fear, anything and everything that's not working. So you could feel, it could feel a little bit, I'm not going to say scary, but a little bit like you could feel, you know, like the effect of your fears. Whatever your fears are, they might be magnified, like the shadow energy, okay? Also, the T-square is going through the month. Later on in the month, actually, this whole thing is pretty much like an ongoing thing through the whole month. You know, the Mars, Uranus, Scorpio stuff, it's all going on. And it affects you, Libra, in particular, on your 5th and 11th house, with the Aquarius thing here, okay? Love and relationship, well, true love and romance. I'll put it over here like this for you, okay? So it would look sort of like this. This is sitting right on top of you, okay? When it comes to true love. And how does that work for you in the broader picture out in the world so to speak, in terms of your community. What's happening? What is being totally upended in your love life? And how does that get reflected back to you in your community with others, so to speak? Quite challenging. And also with the Scorpio Taurus axis here, on your value and values, it's hitting your sense of intimacy. So that you might be getting these really like uh, earthquake type experiences that are happening for you when it comes to the intimacy part of your relationships, not just the marriage part or the established structure, but what happens deep inside the level of soul merger. This is all getting really shaken up for you. Okay. Anyway, I don't want to dwell on that too much. Let's get into the cards. Okay. Let's have some fun. So by the end of the month, when it gets to, I think, the 22nd or something, Sun will be in your sign and things will lighten up a little bit. Sorry, I went on and on with the astro stuff, but I felt I had to share it. It was an awkward one for you, Libra, but I had to share that, okay? Cards were already well shuffled before we shuffled, and then after we shuffled, and now we're shuffling again. No jumpers, no flyers, no oracles, no reversals. It's all too much. Bless you, Libra. Bless the cards. Bless this deck. Bless the whole reading. Bless all the Libras out there. Bless this channel. Bless the platform, the computers, and the cables. This is the love energy that you would be radiating. It's part of all your energy that we're focusing on love. This is from the significant other, their love energy. From deep down inside of you, what are you radiating? From deep down inside of the other, what are they radiating? And at the core, the relationship itself. So I'm hoping you can see this as the crucible here, like the bowl shape. This is the structure in which the relationship is conducted, consciously or unconsciously. This is what exists. So I'm hoping you understand it and make the best of it, okay? Over here would be momentum and prospects. Think of this as a living thing. The relationship itself has energy. It has flow. It has a life. It's like a living thing. So over here, we're going to look at circumstantial energy that's around you. We're going to make the best of it. Now with this crucible thing, remember the structure, the whole idea of the structure is to be able to withstand the intense ups and downs that happen in the relationships where we intimate and we separate over periods of time. Sometimes it can be very extreme and everything blows up. But when the relationship is strong, then the parties can still figure it out, okay? If this is not strong, and when you reach a stressor, when you come through some, perhaps some stressful events like in here, on those kind of dates, then, things could get very awkward and difficult. Over here, let's have a look circumstantially. Okay, well, that's very nice for you. You got the Ten of Pentacles around you. So my feeling is to be very aware of how fortunate you are in your physical world right now. It's an indication in some ways that you must be doing something right. My feeling is that you've either aligned yourself for this, or it's just you could call it fate if you want, but it's the feeling and the knowing that you've got substance, you've got endurance, you've got value, you have values, you are highly valued, and you value the loved ones around you. Okay, it's understanding the strength in family, the strength in family, the value in family, let's say the bounty from having family in ways that are very physically evident, like knowing you have a place to sleep, a place to rest, love at home that works for you on the individual level and also in like a group environment. Okay, that's what I'm seeing here. So I'm very happy to see this for you, Libra. Let's have a look. What are you radiating? Of course, here, the Queen of Cups. Wow. Well, with the Queen of Cups, my feeling is that you're doing a really good job as best you can. I think something to do with the Pisces-Libra axis. Let me make a point here. The Pisces-Libra axis is very strong right now. I think Venus is in Libra over here. And then the Sun, in Virgo here. And then the Sun is going into Virgo here. And, it doesn't hit on you directly. But it's very, I have a feeling this is something to do with the sense of love that is flowing and healing in your life, in your world. Let's put it this way for you. Let's put the Pisces Virgo axis this way so that you can understand it better. Basically, you're starting to realize what it takes to love and be loved. How does that translate? Upgrading yourself, figuring out what have you done up to this point that actually works, that has brought you into a place of abundance where you can see the abundance around you in a loving relationship, in the broader spectrum, perhaps, in such a way that you can see it, you can feel it around you, and it shows. It's very evident. So part of you is figuring like, how on earth did I get to this place? On the other hand, I know I'm right. I know I'm doing something right. I am like blessed with the love that I share, the love that I have, and I guess I'm just seeing it coming back to me in terms of physical hard evidence. That's very, very cool. Whatever it might be. Maybe somebody gives me a hug. Maybe I have the most romantic love life of my life in the next few weeks or so. Or maybe it could be anything that could translate or could feel as love, where you're aware that that is something that you built because of your own loving abundance that you carry with you at this level with the Queen of Cups, having earned that and worked for that, and now living that by example and seeing that coming back to you in your life, in your world. What about the significant other? Okay, well, I have a feeling a lot of that might be happening because of a significant other. My feeling here with the Temperance card is that a lot of divine healing is being offered to you, has been offered to you, has been presented to you, whether you know it or not. And in so doing, it has allowed this type of super high frequency love energy to flow in your world, where it's deep at the heart level here, but also shows in your surroundings. To me, this is very, very physical, three-dimensional card here with the Ten of Pentacles. And the idea would be like, you can see it, like maybe somebody made you a really nice dinner, okay? And they did it because they love you and they're trying to bring harmony and balance into your life because they have like this innate energy of loving and being loved in a way that their expression of love is very much about like creating harmony, creating balance out of whatever is not working and nurturing the love. It's actually very, very hard to do this, very hard to be this energy. So I hope you understand how lucky you are, Libra, to have this person around you right now in your life in this way, shape, or form, because this is very, very healing energy. This is very powerful. This is alchemical, like deep soul healing energy that's going on here. And I think you're just lucky. I think you're just lucky to have this. It creates a lot of balance and harmony in the relationship, and you might be seeing the evidence of that. What's happening deep down inside? Okay, with the Page of Wands here, what you might be sensing is like, wow, this is good news for whatever's coming up. You might not know what's coming up, but you sense like, I don't know, there's some kind of new future happening here. I mean, you've had to live through the eclipses just like anyone else. And for you, Libra, those eclipses have been banging back and forth for you on the house of true love over here, your fifth house. Okay, all that Aquarius energy here. I'm not saying you're relating to an Aquarius. What I'm suggesting is the eclipses were very, very strong there. And it's made you really like have to figure out, how am I like relating to a significant other, and how are they relating to me in terms of like the classic old-fashioned romance, but how does that work on the more mature, broader spectrum when you take that into the world around you, above and beyond your home, your family, but into the like broad spectrum of the world? Your heart is saying here, it feels like your heart is saying, well, I can see I have a place and a mission and a purpose and a sense of drive and belonging. I would like to do that, but I don't know exactly what it is yet, because I have a feeling you're going to have to learn, or you're going to be learning a lot from this significant other over here, who in some ways it feels to me is that they have your best interests at stake. But what is it that defines love? That's a whole other thing now, because that has been totally upended. So you might be getting upgrades in terms of love and relationship, perhaps even romance. The question is, it's too early to tell what that is. We've got another 6 months to go before the last Leo Aquarius eclipse thing, I think in very early 2019, January or February, something in there. So please allow for a 6 month like flow here, as this might make more sense in 6 months from now. I know it's just a tiny little reading, but sometimes that happens. Sometimes we go big. So my feeling here is that from my heart to yours is that what you're radiating is a knowing that new things are ahead for you in good ways, but it's like not knowing exactly what that is, because I think it's very contingent upon their energy being there continuously in a healing capacity for you. So it's very good for you. So the question is, how does that look? How does that change over the next 6 months? And how is that really going to look? You'll get a much more clear identity and understanding early next year. What are they radiating over here? Okay, well, with the Devil card, okay, don't be scared. Okay, remember, this is not a couples reading, Libra. This is all about you in the context of a relationship that allows for this person and their significant energy and for the relationship dynamic itself. And my feeling here is that they are struggling deep down to actually figure out, this is like, again, nothing to do with you. My feeling is deep down, they have so much love and benevolence for you, but there's some deep, profound challenge in some ways that is being brought into question here, like the sense of binding that goes with this, and the sense of deep limitation that goes and accompanies their deep love for you in some way, shape, or form or other, and which actually ends up being restricting for them. So that's a problem. So they have all this benevolence, and you get to enjoy all the benevolence of their love, but there's also the sense that, I don't know if it's to do with guilt or something, or some kind of karmic bond here, which in some ways, it's almost like restricting for them, limiting for them. And it's almost like, that's going to sound really weird, but they're trying to work themselves out of this so that they don't have to feel the binding and the bondage and the restrictions that come with the relationship. They still want what's best for you. They want what's best for themselves and want what's best for the relationship. However, my feeling is that because deep down inside, they are changing and transforming just as much as you are because of these eclipses. It affects them in such a way that it's almost like they can feel the heavy restrictions of the relationship as it is now. They're offering the healing in a very, very like super high frequency love type way, which you couldn't even define, which is going to hopefully, I think they're deep down, they're praying that they can be released from all of this and allow themselves to flow and move freely again, so that the love that they have here that is being heavily channeled towards your benefit, which ultimately benefits them in that I think they're seeing this as an investment plan in order to release themselves. So they see the wealth in this as well. They see a chance for basically being aware of the deep limitations and deliberately choosing to be in these limited situations, knowing that deep down they want freedom from this bondage here. Okay, I don't want to say the relationship is suffocating. It's just that it looks like it's like they're deeply chained into a healing relationship with you, and they need to get above and beyond it and be released and be free and be freed, which I think is very much to do with this axis here, being liberated, okay, being freed in terms of love and relationship, as opposed to, well, let's say, old-fashioned three-dimensional templates, and moving things into a much more highly evolved 5, 7, 11D type of template. Over here, what about the relationship itself? Well, to me, this feels like it's you. The relationship, well, it is about you because it's your reading. But what I'm feeling is that it's really like my feeling is that you don't really understand what's happening here. Like you couldn't actually write it down on a piece of paper what's happening, but you feel it very, very deeply in your heart, some way, somehow or other, that you are deeply cherished, deeply loved, and that you're receiving a lot of love, a lot of healing from a significant other to you, which is very good for you, but it does leave restrictions on a significant other in a situation where they might look to expand this energy onto a much larger scale outside and above the relationship itself for the benefit of like the world at large, for the community. I'm thinking about the Leo Aquarius axis here. And over here with the Knight of Cups, it feels like even though you might not be aware of this, you might sense this. You might be sensing this at a very deep subliminal level, like, oh no, oh no, oh no, I don't want this. I don't want this in you. I want you to be free, to love, but I also still want all the good stuff that I get from you. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. I do love you. I do care. I want this. I want what works, and I'm willing to, upgrade, mature, grow, advance, do what it has to do. Like, tell me what to do. Tell me what to do here. I will stop doing anything and everything that does not work in terms of a loving relationship. And I'm willing to learn and advance and move towards what does work in a loving relationship. I have the guts. I have the courage. I have the love. Please heal me, guide me, protect me somehow. And so that you are liberated because I love you that much. Okay. Where does this leave us? Okay. Okay. With the 10 of Wands here, it might be that it's too much. It's too much to handle. Like a sense of, it's almost like, gosh, I don't want to pop any bubbles here, but I think it's a maturation, a growing awareness of, for you, Libra, and how incredibly fortunate you are, how incredibly fortunate you have been, and how incredibly fortunate you may be going forward from here. But I have a feeling it's going to be at the sacrifice of this, because this is not going to be tolerated for very long. And there might be something very delicious and satisfying for them in knowing that they have this relationship. A lot of people get very codependent, and they think that that is love. And the idea to switch from codependency to love can be a very, very difficult lesson for a lot of people. And I have a feeling that's what could be happening here, where through some very, very subtle, very beautiful, but perhaps quite painful awakenings in the dynamics of love here, you're doing everything that you can. They are doing what they can. And what happens is the burdens of the relationship become more and more vividly exposed, especially by the end of the month, where it's almost you start to see, what we were talking about here, the 12th house energy over here. You start to see how you are the cause of your own undoing and anything and everything that's not working in the relationship. In other words, if you, dear Libra, are placing very, very subtle but very strong bindings on the significant other, and it ends up being very suffocating for a significant other, that's a problem. And it becomes unacceptable anymore. It becomes so burdensome. And that's a source of self-undoing. In other words, how could you have something so lovely that ends up in a situation where it has limitations, but it has to be learned and understood? In other words, if we are in a situation where your world of love and relationship is going up to the next level, and it needs to be done in a way that is not disrespectful, and in other words, there is a releasing from bindings and an understanding that the limitations have been reached, the limits have been reached, and then a new level of love can occur from here, new levels of wealth and abundance for everybody. But it's in a new context. It's something that you've not known before and you could not have known before. And it isn't going to happen by like a switch. I think it'll happen by lots and lots of little trigger moments over the next 6 months as the moon passes through, particularly Libra and Aries, but most particularly as it goes through Libra. It'll every time the moon goes through that, new levels of awakening will be triggered. And you realize it's not bad to evolve and grow this way, where you realize, okay, it might be the end of the road in some ways for, being able to carry this whole thing, but it doesn't mean it was not worthwhile. It can mean that there's still a lot more ahead. It's just a new definition of love that lies ahead, because it has to be. In other words, everything needs to be reformatted here, because the eclipses blew everything up. And now it's time over the next 6 months to start to reformat, integrate everything, and see what it looks like about 6 months from now, and then get another reading. Okay? So I hope this helps. I hope I didn't confuse you. I hope you understand it. I hope you get something out of it. Please, dear Libra, if you have issues or whatever, come to terralumination.com and we can figure it out. Okay? All right. Well, thank you so much for visiting. Bye-bye. All the best.